Hi, my name is Connie and I work for Code Red Safety. Today we'll be conducting our Fresh Air Training course, which will include the donning and doffing of the 5-minute skate pack and the 30-minute SCBA. We'll also cover the proper rig up of a fresh air job and bottle watch procedures. I want to make sure everybody has one of these respirator training outlines. Go along with it as we go through the course. If you have any questions at any time, let your attendant know and we'll stop and go over any questions that you have. At the end of the course, we need you to print, sign, put your employee number and the date and turn it in up front. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Thomas Berwick. He will be performing our training today. Thomas?
First, we're going to start with the bottle setup, how to hook the regulator up, and the bottle watch procedures. We're going to screw your bottle onto your main outlet of your manifold. We have a 2-bottle cart. Normally it's a 12-pack that we use. We have some regulators that have a nut like this that you can screw onto the bottle. Some have a hand wheel. If you have a hand wheel on the regulator, do not use channel locks on it to tighten it down because there's an O-ring in there that will split when you mash it down. And then you'll have a leak. Alright, the regulator's on. On your regulator you have 2 gauges. This one tells you the pressure going to your respirator. This one tells you the pressure that's inside your bottle. You'll see a bell on here. When this gauge gets to 500 psi, this bell will ring, indicating you have low pressure and it's time to switch to another bottle. We'll go over that in a second. If you look at the bottles, you'll see these yellow tags that say empty, in use, and full. When you open your first bottle, pressurize the system, you go to your first bottle and take that tag and tear off the tag showing that it's in use. When this bottle gets down to 800 psi, we recommend that's when you close that bottle and then you go to your second bottle and open it. Once you open it, you tear off the full tag, the full part section, go back to your empty bottle that you closed and tear off in use and show that that bottle is empty. When you follow that procedure around your 12 bottles at 800 psi, go to your next bottle. Make sure you close the empty one, then open the next full one. Once you get down to your last bottle, if the guys are still working in the confined space or under the fresh air, wherever they're at, tell them, hey, we have to get out now. You want to tell them when you get down to about 3 bottles that you're getting low on air. When you get down to, if they can finish up and you get down to your last bottle, you go back and open every other bottle, all your bottles, and that'll get all of them at 800 psi to give you enough air to get those guys out of the confined space. All right. Let you hear the alarm. When this bottle gets down, when this alarm goes off, 500, that's when you know you got low pressure. Alright, to set it up to run your hoses for your respirator, you have your low pressure hose. They come in 50-foot sections. You can only have 300 feet of low pressure hose from your regulator to your respirator. I think the standard states from your point of regulation to your respirator. So we'll plug it in. And these fittings are called Schrader fittings. Twist them to let them loose. To let go, all you have to do is twist the fitting, and that comes right up. Put it together and just snap it in. Alright. We're gonna go to your 5-minute skate pack first. 5-minute skate pack bottle. If you look at this gauge, it has a yellow line that says full on it. That represents 2,216 PSI. If you get a bottle that has the needle below that, do not use it. That means it's got a leak or it didn't get filled up correctly. Anything on that line or above is good. It also tells you that this little bottle has a lot of pressure in it, so be careful with it. When you get done with it, put it back in the box that it came in. Don't just take it off and drop it on the ground or anything. You don't want to crack this valve or knock it off, because then you'll have a possible projectile. On your skate pack, you have your Scott AV 2000 full face mask. You have your easy flow regulator that attaches to your mask. You want to make sure your gasket right here that seals to your mask is in good condition. To put it on, you want to line that red valve up with a little black knob on the top of the mask. You got flat edges that line up with the flat edges on your mask. Turn it clockwise and you'll hear it click in. This latch plate catches in those little grooves. When it locks in, it's on and it's sealed up. You want to inspect your mask. You want to make sure these little black knobs are all intact. None of them are missing or half missing, cracked. You want to look at your lens, do a visual on that, make sure there's no cracks in it. Make sure your face seal doesn't have cuts and major warps in it from the sunlight. You want to check behind these little screws on the inside of the mask. Make sure you don't see a spider web effect behind those with tiny cracks coming out. Alright, on your mask you have a red valve here. This is your purge valve. The purge valve is designed to blow contaminants away from the mask when you get ready to put it on. You pull it out of the bag, you're out in the unit, dust is flying around or something. Hit your purge valve. Put the respirator to your face, pull your head net over your head. Once you get it on, pull the fin straps first. Take a deep breath. Adjust your temple straps. And it should be good to go. So take it off. Press your switch on the front of your regulator. Pull it off over your head. This switch is your dawning dolphin switch, it's your air saver switch. So when you pull it off and this switch is activated, you'll hear air free flowing. You click the valve and it shuts it off. We'll let Connie put it on to demonstrate how it's for. Alright, your bottle goes on your left hand side, on your left hip, with a black valve facing forward. The main thing to remember when you're wearing this respirator is if you're working in somewhere and all of a sudden your mask runs out of air and it sucks up to your face, the first thing you do is open this valve. Turn it towards your body and twist it, and you should start breathing air out of your 5-minute bottle right there. Now this 5-minute bottle, it says 5 minutes, at 2,216 PSI, that bottle is supposed to give you 5 minutes of air. Depending on your lung capacity, health, it might not give you a complete 5 minutes of air. Like I said, the main thing to remember is when you're wearing this, if something happens, there's an emergency, you hear your low pressure alarm going off, turn that bottle on, disconnect your supply line. You have a line that comes off on the right hand side. Disconnect it and evacuate from where you're at. Do not remove your respirator until you're in a clean atmosphere. On these 5 minutes inside this regulator, there's an orange diaphragm you can't see. Its maximum operating pressure is 125 psi. You don't want to turn it over 120. We preset our regulators at 90 psi, between 90 and 100. Some people believe in the theory that you have to turn the pressure up on the regulator if you have more than one person breathing on air so they get more air. That's not true. If you adjust the pressure up on this above 100 psi, there's a possibility that the regulator in here, the diaphragm, may rupture. If that does, whatever you're protecting yourself from is going to enter through here and come right through the diaphragm, and then you're going to be inhaling whatever gas you're trying to protect yourself from. All right. It goes over your left shoulder. You have your supply line when you hook up. And that is basically it for the 5-minute pack. Now we're going to cover the 30-minute SCBA, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus. You'll notice the mask is the same that's on your Scott 5-minute skate pack. Has the same easy flow regulator on it. Attaches the exact same way. Has a starting switch. Everything's the same as the little 5-minute pack. This is the 30-minute cylinder. It's designed at this size of cylinder at 2,216 psi to give you 30 minutes of air. Just like the 5-minute, depends on your lung capacity and how heavy you're breathing. It has a lapel gauge. This gauge tells you the pressure that's in your bottle while you're wearing the SCBA. So the SCBA on, this part of the bottle is upside down on your back and you can't see it. So you need to know what your pressure is. You can look over your shoulder and see what it is. I'm going to pressure this unit up to let you hear the alarm. It has a low pressure alarm on it. Goes off at 500 psi. Some of the masks have a vibra alert in it. And some of the reducers have a bell that'll start dinging. This particular one has a vibra alert over a mask. When you feel that and hear that, that means you have approximately 5 minutes to get out of the ideal atmosphere. On your SCBA, you have a supply line. This line is designed to plug into your low pressure coming from your 12-pack. You can plug it in, and you can breathe off of your supply bottles, your 12-pack, your tube trailer. When you put it on, normally you press it up first to put it on if you're not using your supply line. You recommend you wait on this now. When you get it, it's in a case and it'll be laying down. You put it on. I recommend doing it in a jacket style method. Put one arm in. Bring it around and put your other arm inside the other strap. We recommend using the buddy system to help them don this so they know they're getting it all right. Make sure their straps aren't all twisted. See, kind of connected her belt strap. You pull the tabs on the side to tighten it up. You want the bottle to sit as high as possible on your back. It's more comfortable and at the end of the shift, your back's not gonna be hurting. If you let this slide down and wear it low, it starts pulling on your lower back, and you'll start having problems later and even with a sore back. Your lapel gauge hangs on your right hand side, like I mentioned earlier. That way you can see the pressure you have. The mask, everything don's the same as a 5-minute. In Sitco, you cannot wear a 30-minute pack on an elevated surface without the supply line. If you have one, it should be marked ground use only. Now we're going to show you how to take the 30-minute pack off. Unbuckle your waist strap, and you got tabs on the side. Just pull those tabs forward. The tabs I was talking about, so loosen it, just mash it, and it'll slide right out. And that's how you take it off. Replace it back into your case. Get all your straps folded in, and you're done.